everyone. This is Maheen, and welcome to the Canadian SME Small Business Podcast. Today, we are breaking down the structural mechanics of experiential event production, multi channel marketing synchronization, and creative team scalability. Because in 2026, building a dominant brand footprint requires moving past unoptimized, reactive social media posts to execute data driven brand architectures, high impact corporate trade shows, and highly cohesive digital media funnels. Joining us are two powerhouse leaders from Theresa Place Media Inc. Theresa Place is the president and CEO of TPM, a resilient entrepreneur who built her first venture from her kitchen table and has scaled it into a full service marketing event and creative production powerhouse. Devyn Maybee is the director of marketing at TPM, an honors graduate in communications and film from Wilfrid Laurier University, who oversees a diverse portfolio of over 15 major corporate accounts and spearheads editorial direction for three prominent industry publications. Without further ado, let's welcome them both and dive in. Theresa, Devyn, it's an absolute pleasure to have you both on the show with us today. Thank you for joining. How are you?
Thank you. I'm great. How are you?
Very well. Thank you so much for both of you to join us. Now, let's open our discussion by understanding the hidden logistics of corporate event production. So, when attendees they walk into a beautifully polished corporate conference, trade show, or golf tournament, they only see the final product and they completely miss the chaotic, execution happening backstage. Tell us what key operational elements make large scale corporate events successful and why is early planning vital?
Yes, you're right. I was going to say successful events are won long before the actual day of the event. So for us, every successful event starts with understanding the client's goals, the audience, and their budget. And then from there, it's all about planning, marketing, sponsorships, registration, the logistics, vendors, staffing, and risk management. At TPM, we typically begin these events 6 to 12 months, if not longer, in advance. Early planning gives us the opportunity to get the better venues, better pricing, stronger sponsorships, connections, and more time to market the event, and then fewer last minute decision making or surprises. People, like you said, people only experience the one day, but they don't see the hundreds of decisions and months of planning that make the event look effortless. And that's our goal.
That's a great overview, really. Thank you so much for walking us through this because locking in our venue logistics, vendor contracts, and contingency plan months in advance is quite the ultimate safeguard against the unpredictable variables that are out there of live event production. Now let's explore how integrated marketing channels work together to drive this growth. This is for you, Devyn. Tell us, why is a unified data-driven marketing strategy so essential, and how do separate assets work together to capture leads?
Yeah, so everything we do starts with a strategy. So before we create content, we want to ask, what's the goal, and then define our audience. So who are they? What are their challenges? What motivates them? These answers then will determine the content. So if your goal is awareness, you might showcase more behind the scene content or office culture and trends on social media. If it's lead generation, you might want to highlight testimonials, case studies, awards that we have won, podcasts such as this. You can also combine those pillars together. So we created a reel for trying to generate leads without it sounding salesy. So what we did was said, if we can pull this off, you should probably let us plan your next event. And it was my team throwing pens into a cup. I was standing behind putting them in the cup. So obviously it worked that way. So it combines awareness with the trend, as well as trying to sell something without sounding like we're doing a sales pitch. Every marketing channel also has a different role. So based on your industry, social media often will build awareness, whereas email marketing is often where we see more clicks, registrations. So 1 million views on a single reel doesn't always equate to 1 million customers. Those are the metrics you want to track that will match your goal. So when you're on social media, email marketing, website, all of that content works together under the same strategy, but each piece just helps people move to the next step. So once you can define that, you want to measure those results. For us, this might look like a monthly social media report or a report per each campaign, and then your strategy can shift based on these results.
That's an important point because when marketing channels work together with a clear strategy, businesses can create a more consistent customer experience while generating stronger engagement and better results. Now, let's discuss how a strong internal culture helps creative teams continue delivering exceptional work as an agency grows. Have you, or I should say, how have you structured your internal team to maintain creative output and operational excellence while scaling?
Well, first one is the culture within the office. We make sure we also have fun while we work really hard. But systems also create consistency, and having great people create great experiences. So I have a great team. In the past 6 years, I guess, we've grown into a team of 12, and everyone has a specialized role, whether it's marketing, events. We also do association management, so there's that aspect as well. Everyone has a clear ownership of their duties, and they would love to collaborate well with each other. Like I said, we rely on strong systems, documented processes, and regular communication. So we use Slack, for example, for all our internal communication, and we make sure to have huddles when we can to talk about the event to make sure we're on track. Planning ahead also helps. So like I said, having those 12 to 18 months is ideal for most larger events. And my role as the CEO and president is just to empower the great people that already work with TPM. I trust them and I give them the tools that they need. And so far, so good.
That really highlights the importance of culture because as cultural organizations, or I should say, as organizations grow, creating an environment that is built on collaboration, adaptability, and trust, it can be just as important as the creative work itself. Thank you for highlighting this, Theresa. Now let's look at how storytelling and design come together to create impactful publications for specialized audiences. Devyn, how do you blend filmmaking and editorial design to create high retention media for niche audiences?
Yeah, so I'll start with the publication piece. Our digital magazines are a great example of this. Obviously, in a lot of industries, we are slowly moving away from print, which is still relevant, but having that digital aspect does give you a lot more benefit. So they're not just PDFs. A lot of our publications are clickable. You can click on your sponsors' ads directly to their website. They can also access those analytics, which can then benefit their reason to sponsor. We can also embed videos, social media links, and readers really get that interactivity piece, like a word search or a crossword. And we want that content to stay with them, but it doesn't need to stop there. So a single article can then become a short video, a podcast, a reel, a LinkedIn post, an email. You can take that and further the discussion. This podcast is a great example. So this will go on YouTube. You'll have your audio go on your podcast platforms. You could pull reels from us. Even, you can do collaborations and we could both share. It can become an article. There's so many aspects that you can take this to. And then you don't have to keep recreating that content every time. So that really highlights the benefit of that cross-platform marketing. And you are using it in so many ways. So at the end of the day, like if it's a magazine, a reel, or a podcast, we want to keep people engaged beyond just that one piece of content. And when you combine that specifically with video showcasing faces and that people are actually retaining this content, it will keep their attention a lot longer beyond the single podcast, for example.
That is a fascinating creative approach, Devyn, because from what we understand is that combining visual storytelling with the thoughtful editorial design, it really helps create content that not only captures attention, but it also keeps the audiences engaged. And that is a similar approach that we had to take with Canadian SME to move from print to all the way digital. And we've been very successful with that approach as well. So it's great to bring that, experience from another person as well. Finally, let's explore the lessons that come from building a business from the ground up. Theresa, what lessons did building a business from scratch teach you about operational perfection and the value of human relationships?
So actually, this is my second time being an entrepreneur. My first business didn't work out the way I wanted it to, and at that time, it felt like a failure. But looking back, I realized that one of the greatest lessons I could have received was my resilience. And then patience and the importance to never give up. So when I did start Theresa Place Media, I brought all those lessons with me, understood what worked, what didn't work, and I built this company different. I'm not working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, which is also key. I also instill that in my staff as well. When 5 o'clock hits, notifications are off. I also learned that partners, not partners in a business, but partnerships outside of your business, those connections you make are really important. So networking. Systems are important. Processes matter, and so does the technology that you choose. But my biggest takeaway is always the relationships that I've built. Those always come first, no matter what. So our clients, we partner with them. We're not just hired and that's it, right? We actually become friends long term. Some of us have even traveled with some of our clients. We're a good partner to have. What else do I want to say about that? So I think one thing I would tell other entrepreneurs is it is hard to be an entrepreneur. It's not always easy. It's sometimes really lonely, but don't be afraid and ask for help and try. That's all you can do, right? So those would be my lessons, and have a lot of resilience and patience and thick skin.
That's an inspiring journey, really. And it teaches us that building a successful business, it often comes down to staying adaptable, delivering consistently, and investing in the relationships that really support long-term growth. Now let's head into our final wrap-up to gather one last piece of professional wisdom for our audience this quarter from the both of you. Give us, one single best advice for small business owners to fix marketing or really de-risk an upcoming event this quarter.
For events, I can say start planning early. Know what the end result you want for that event. Build a detailed timeline. Have your risks outlined. Communicate often, and always have a contingency plan because things don't always go the way you think they are.
That's an exceptional reminder. And Devyn, would you like to add to that?
Yeah, I would say, kind of just to summarize the two questions I had, utilize your strategy and continue to revisit that. And then from a TPM standpoint, in terms of the office culture, get to know who you're working with. I think creativity doesn't just happen from us sitting in an office alone, especially in this industry. And being creative and enjoying the work that you do will also help you succeed long term.
That's a wonderful way to conclude. Thank you so much. And we really appreciate the time that you shared all these great insights to whether it's planning an event or building a marketing strategy. Success really comes from having a clear vision, a strong execution, and the right people around you. Theresa and Devyn, once again, thank you both for joining us today and sharing your insights. It was a pleasure having you on it. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
And listeners, that was Theresa and Devyn from TPM, a masterclass in de-risking large-scale corporate events using a unified multi-channel strategy to scale over 15 diverse accounts and understanding how a relationship-first culture drives more than agency growth in 2026. Thank you for tuning into the podcast. Please be sure to subscribe and visit CanadianSME.ca. To learn more about how we're supporting the ecosystem, please visit SMEfoundation.ca. And a special shout out before we leave to UPS and ADP for their ongoing commitment to empowering small businesses across Canada. Please, join us next week as we explore our next important topic. Until next time, please keep innovating and keep growing.